I'll bring him over.
Hey.
I know where I get another big. I know a guy.
All right, this is it, the 2 o'clock edition of the Cup Insider. We appreciate you coming back and joining us again. Once again, Daniel Fennel, Alan Gray over here, and this time joined by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes Pro Dave Lefebvre. How we doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Nice to be with you, too.
You know it. First of all, we'll just start it. It's definitely not where you want to be if you're standing in between me and this guy right now. How bad does it hurt to not be out there, Dave?
Well, it's my first time working the Cup, and then it's different, not being out there and not getting up early in the morning and hearing, just seeing the water all, it's just one of them deals. I don't even know what to say about it. It's been 12 years of making the Cup and not going is killing me. I can't even put it into words.
You know it is. I mean, you guys, this is, even if it's not every day, you may not go fishing every day, but it's what you do. I mean, this is your job. It's your life. And so when you know that other guys are out there getting to do it right now and you don't get to necessarily, I understand you completely. But I'm going to say we're more than happy to have you with us here in the Cup Insider booth.
Yeah, it's a good time. I mean, you got to do something productive with it, so hanging out with you two punks without sunglasses in the sun. What is it, 100 degrees out here?
Maybe 115. I don't know for sure.
I'm going to push 118. But it's hot out here, but it's getting hot on the water. And Dave, you've had so many opportunities in the past, and one of the best in the game. Always right there at the top things. So many Angler of the Year chances, so many Forrest Wood Cup chances. We were talking with Dave just before we started out this session, and, he is actually this close, not to turn an eye for nothing, but this close to being the only 2-time Forrest Wood Cup champion. With that being said, we don't have a championship, but you've been the bridesmaid. You've gotten second place twice. Tell us a little bit about coming back to this place, what kind of memories you had when you were here in 2008.
Well, Jimmy Houston's out there yelling at me to put glasses on. He let me borrow them. He wants some plugs there, but he don't need plugs, does he? Just Jimmy Houston needs a plug from me? I think he's mad because I just whooped him back there in the casting contest.
See, folks, come out to the expo. Stuff like this just happens. Jimmy Houston's getting ugly. He wants Lefebvre to wear his glasses. This is the Cup Insider for sure.
Nice work, Rehab. I like your hat.
Yeah, we'll put his glasses on for a second. But, yeah, back to your question. When we were here the last time, I put all my marbles in one basket. And, an interesting tidbit that probably not a lot of people know, Stetson Blaylock was a co-angler back then, and he fished with me in practice, so he knows where we're at. He's probably secretly, he was like, "Oh, Dave, I'm so sorry you didn't make it," but he's probably like, "Woo!" But he's close to the top 10, and
waypoints.
He's going to be a dark horse. I really believe that. That's a good area up where he's probably at. I mean, I don't know for sure. I didn't talk to him, but it was just so close. I lost like 3 over 4 pounds that last day, and Michael Bennett pulled under a bridge and caught that big one at the end, and I didn't even need those other big ones, and I would have won. So, and back then we were talking $1 million. I lost $900,000 every time I lost one of those fish. So, this is actually the first time I talked about it since it happened. I think I'm going to go backstage and cry now.
Oh boy,
thanks for bringing that up.
Sorry about that. With that being said, let's get back to losing fish real quick. This is something I always love to hear from the point of view of your professional anglers here. We have our TBF champion, Jason Bates. He lost one over 4 pounds earlier, okay? James Bates, sorry about that. And, 4 pounds in this tournament, you've seen the results from day one. I mean, that can catapult you 15, 20, 25 spots, 1 4-pound fish. So if you go out there and 10th place is 10 pounds or whatever it is right now, and you lose a 4-pounder, is that something that you're able to get over, Dave, or is that something that just kills you inside?
I mean, you got to keep going. That's what we do. But, I'm still thinking about the 4-pounder I lost here, what was it, 7 years ago. So, no, you never get over that. But we're here to win this tournament. 1 4-pounder, and I'm a fan of the sport too, by the way. I follow every single tweet and everything, and you called him Jason yesterday too, didn't you, on this?
I didn't. Somebody else did, but that's what made me do it now is because I read that yesterday, and then they apologized.
If people at home don't think the pros watch and listen and read,
They know
there
what's
you
going
go.
on.
He just caught all of you.
No, I'm a junkie. I'm a junkie when it comes to this stuff, but I'm following everything. 4-pounder crush you. I mean, it crushes you losing. This is a tough one. You know, anytime you lose a big one like that, it's tough. But here, twice as tough. You know, the other thing is Dudley. You know, Dudley whacked him yesterday. I mean, you know, when he's on him like that on the first day, you pretty much got to watch out because usually he's coming the other way when he wins. You know, from down working his way up. So maybe it won't matter. These guys are out here to win this tournament. It's not, they're you know third and finishing 13th or 3rd or 30th doesn't matter. So that 4-pounder, it only hurt real bad if it costs them winning.
You know, you guys fish for points all year long, and this is the one tournament of the year that you don't have to worry about points. You're actually coming. No one's coming here to get 20th place and play it safe. There's not a person out there right now on the water that's going, well, I mean, I could go home with an okay check, I guess. I mean, you know, everyone here is trying to win $500,000. So, yeah, losing a 4-pounder can go a long way, but you know, like you said, you keep fishing at it because it's not a points game; it's a win game.
Yeah, it's all about winning. And what's his name? Jason.
James.
You know, for him, it's about winning too. He's a rookie, right?
Yep.
So, but he's still thinking about winning it. 4-pounder, like I said, big time, especially here.
What do you think's going on, Dave? I mean, the weights are down really over across the board, and you know we saw a few zeros on the boater side, actually 2, I believe, and you know multiple zeros on the co-angler side. You probably didn't do a lot of pre-fishing for this one necessarily, but if you just had to, you know, from a pro angler mind, what do you think is going out there on the water?
Yeah, keep sticking them. Keep
sticking
them.
me.
Pin cushion.
I don't know what the guys are doing. I don't even know what Dudley's doing. I'm a big junkie, but I drove all day. I got here at 5:30 in the morning. It was terrible. You know, I got to get up at 7:30. So, matter of fact, somebody woke me up.
I think I may have give you a little wake-up call.
But, so I'm a little more tired than normal. But matter of fact, I forgot what you asked me already.
What did I ask you? I've already forgot to.
I can tell you, moving forward, both of you, you know, you're a man that is well sponsored. You're always in the expo. You're always doing things like in the industry. We have a 50% off retail tackle coupon, pretty close to your neck of the woods. Give a little plug where you're going to be inside the expo. What's going on for as far as the Dave Lefebvre, the Kellogg's crew?
Well, we're actually, I didn't even know this was happening. A lot of guys are walking around saying, you know, is this it? And I'm like, no, there's a giant. I didn't even know it was out here. But we're actually in the building. Upstairs, there's 2 floors in there. We're downstairs as soon as you walk in, pretty close to the main building, nice and cool in there at the Kellogg's booth. And
now you're stabbing us back.
Yeah. We got a little picnic table there with a nice one of those sun umbrellas that we don't need because it's not sunny in there.
We may have to borrow that from you if you don't mind.
But it's a cool little deal in there. And like I said, you know, I'm not fishing and it's devastating, but to come down here and get to do this, fans and stuff. There's a bunch of people in there, and we're signing autographs and meeting a lot more younger kids than I've seen in a lot of the shows that are asking the questions about how to become a pro and that stuff. And those are, you know, I've made a couple of friends that I wouldn't have made if I was out there fishing. So that's part of the game, and I hope I make the cup next year. I'm not saying that I don't want to make it, but working the show is an awful lot of fun.
You know, a lot of that, you just said it, a lot of younger people coming to these things, a lot of younger people being more excited about the sport of bass fishing. You know, a lot of that comes hand in hand with these high school programs and these college programs that are going nowadays. How much do you wish you could have had those opportunities when you were growing up? Were you a fisherman as a young age, first of all? That's a question I don't even know. But if you had the opportunities to, you know, join a high school fishing team and go and qualify for these different things, I mean, it's just a great deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was just in there talking to some of the guys, some of the Bassmaster guys working in the Livingston booth in there, and I said, you know, somebody that Brent Chapman knows just quit playing football at 31 years old, you know, retired, and he's like, what are you going to do now? And I started thinking when I was walking out here to do this, I started my career when I was that age here, so I got a late start, and like you said, you know, you hit a little thing with me. I wish that I would have started earlier. I've been fishing my entire life, and I started, you know, club and local stuff when I was in my teens in high school, and so I've been fishing forever. but to make that big step, I waited way too long. I was ready. You know, I was winning local and doing what I needed to do, and was really focused on the main thing that I'm telling a lot of the younger kids nowadays, even though it's totally different with social media now. Back then, you know, I was working on that type of stuff, you know, with writers. It was real important. I knew, you know, and they need to know that. And I think, you know, just being around talking to some of them and listening to them, I think that's you know, the best advice that I could give is to not just focus on the fishing, and to try to do it a little bit earlier. You know, I really wish that I could be 31 right now and have 12 years under my belt instead of 41. So
I hear you. I see it firsthand, though. You know, we help and we do a lot of these weigh-ins for high school tournaments, and I see these high school kids on Saturday, and then 7 days later we do a BFL tournament, and these same high school kids are right there, and they're not just fishing them. They're cashing checks in these things. And so I think our age group is really, I mean, I'm just saying watch out. You're going to have a lot of guys gunning for you here in the future, Dave. And so, and their competitiveness of these guys is, I mean, they're getting serious about it at an earlier age now.
Look at the young, one of the young men that we talked last year at the Forrest Wood Cup about half the Forrest Wood Cup, half the Cup Insider was about the up-and-comer, you know, Adrian Navina. You know, he had an unbelievable year last year. This year, down on Kentucky Lake, the young man from Texas just blew him out of the water. He's working the cup right now. I can't think of his name, but there's a ton of guys that went from high school to college, but college into the BFLs, you know, into the tour, and it is showing. I'm drawing a blank on all their names right now, but there is several that fish the tour. They're there.
The difference is, well, like we talked about, social media. It's Facebook, YouTube. I mean, these guys, if they're like I was when I can't imagine. You know, if I was that age and had those resources, we didn't have none of that. I mean, it was a totally different era back then. It feels weird to be talking about it because I feel like a rookie. I mean, I was so excited to get out there. But that's the big thing is if they're a sponge, if they want to learn, it's unlimited. You know, tools available with what's going on YouTube and you know, even you know, like Bass University, things like that we didn't have. You know, just since I'm already talking about that type of deal, you know, I'm doing a thing called Pro Web Live where I can do a seminar. You know, I don't have to go somewhere to do a seminar. I can be in my own living room, pump it out all over the world, and we're doing, you know, several guys, the top guys in the world. So. Matter of fact, we got Mark Rose. I'll plug it. Mark Rose on next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Pro Web Live. But there's just that's the deal. Is, you know, it's not like you have a textbook to go off of, and then when you get to the end, you're done. Like when I was into it. Now, if you know, you can just keep going and going and going and learning and getting the best information from the top guys in the world. And there's no secrets.
All right, back to the fishing. Cut day. All right, you're on the water. Okay. Wannabe. If you're on the water fishing right now, you're going for that top 20 cut. I mean, let's say you got a limited bass right now. It's coming up on 215. You're at about that 10, 11 pound mark. You're thinking you need 13 pounds. I mean, do you keep working at these fish today to make it to the top 20, or do you truly try to just take your chances? Do I have enough, or do I burn another fish to make it tomorrow?
You know, that's the whole thing about fishing. That's what makes it the best sport in the world. It's got the most variables in the world, and you cannot answer that question unless you're in that situation, sitting there on the water. My first thought when you started talking would be to pull under that bridge where Michael Bennett pulled and get cooled off a little bit and catch a 4-pounder on a shaky head.
Okay, all right. Well.
There you go. So it's just a gut feel is what you're telling me. You just got to do what your body is telling you to do and either go big or go home on those kinds of situations. Let's give the people out there what they're looking for. We don't have a lot of updates. We've got a lot of media coming off the water at this point, trying to get ready for this weigh-in coming in. But to start it out, first place, your Castro Pro David Dudley. I didn't have any reports. They've been real quiet on him, which you know how media is. They might hide a little bit of stuff if they know something. The report we had earlier this morning is he got one in the box. Since then, I've heard a few different things that he might have some fish in there. But like you said, David Dudley had 17 pounds on the first day. That's the way you want to start the Forrest Wood Cup, right?
No doubt. And when he does that, it's dangerous, you know. Like you said, one fish, that's what they're reporting right now. He calls me the possum. He's been calling me that for about 10 years. I'm going to turn it right back around on him.
Yep.
Right now. I don't believe it.
He may be slow playing us a little bit, is what Dave is saying right here.
He's going to push off the guys behind him with one fish on the media, but really he's got possibly some fish in the well.
What he's doing is kind of related to the question you just asked me. If it's the case, he's making those guys feel that if they have 12 pounds today, they're going to be okay. Because stuff gets around. People are talking, you hear it. So he could be doing that. I wouldn't put it past him.
You guys and your mind games.
You got to be a good fisherman and a chess
love
match.
It. You got to be a chess player, too. In second place, a lot of people picked this guy to have a great tournament, Chevy Pro Brian Thrift. He went out there, got it done pretty good on day one. He's got his limit again on day two. I heard he caught like 6 or 7 keepers in a row. He had a goose egg going up until that point, and we're talking like 1 o'clock, and he found the spot, and he got him.
That's just keeping an open mind, and we hear it. Like I said, we hear a lot of stuff. I heard that camera boat pulled up on him, and he was whining the blues. I haven't had a bite yet, and all of a sudden, bam! He catches one. He ends up catching a big one, and catches like 3 or 4 more off the same little deal there. We don't want to give that away, but that's just being in the right place. It seems like a lucky deal. But when the same guys are winning and the same guys are making top 10s,
it's not luck.
No, it's not lucky. It's putting yourself in a situation and capitalizing.
All right, third place right now, Rappel Pro Cody Meyer. Didn't stop to talk to our media boat, but as he was flying by him earlier, held up the big goose egg as he went by. And this is a guy that had a good bag, a 14-pound bag on day one. But like we just got done saying, it is a chess game somewhat out there. It's not just about the fishing. It's about the mind games, too, a little bit. So we'll see what he does. Nobody knows for sure yet. In sixth place right now, Brent Ayler. He had 3 in the box, the last report we had. But, you've been fishing against that guy before. You know what he can do.
Yeah, you know what he can do for sure. And, looking at the top 5, like I said, I haven't been keeping up with exactly what's going on. I haven't seen the photos or the backgrounds to see if they're offshore or what they're doing. But that top 5 right there kind of paints a picture in pretty much everybody's mind of some spinning rods. You know what I mean? So I don't, I'm still going out on the limb and saying, all those guys are great fishermen and they're good mind game players. All of that whole top 5 right there. So, but I'm still leaning toward the guy that's doing it shallow. I said it on my Facebook page yesterday, and I'm going to stick. It's only day one. We've only had one weigh in, so I'm still thinking that the guys that are fishing shallow and just commit. Like he said earlier, we're not fishing for points. We're out there to win. Guys that can commit, throw that frog or flip something shallow all day long. I'm going to stick by that at least till day 3.
I hear you. Your Kellogg's Angler of the Year, Andy Morgan. Oh boy, this guy started off super slow this morning, and then before we knew it, he went and turned into Andy Morgan again. And so if you were up in that top 10 right now, how bad would you be looking behind you in that rear view at what Andy Morgan was doing?
Well, right now, looking at it, it kind of looks like a Brian Thrift, Andy Morgan thing. I'm assuming Brian's maybe shallow, and I'm assuming Andy's obviously shallow. And I'm looking down the list that you got laying there at Wheeler, who I think is probably shallow. And then we already talked about Stetson, who I think probably shallow. If I was up there where Dudley's at and struggling like he claims he's doing today, I'd be more worried about those guys. Just to be honest. But it's still it's pretty strong when you got three guys that are out there with spinning.
We were talking just before the segment, and I know we've only had 1 day of weigh-ins, but this is ultimately minus you. Could possibly be, a hurricane meets a tornado top 10, with the Dudley and the Morgan and the Thrifts and the Wheeler and the, Gagliardi. This could be one of the best top 10s we've seen, minus the ones that you've been in.
How could we talk this long and not mention Gagliardi until right now?
Because these media guys out on the water are creating suspense is what I'm thinking is going on here. I think they have purposely not given us the information that we need to report on Gagliardi. Tell me about that guy, his story. You know what happened to him throughout the year this year, Dave. If something like that happened to you, what did he have to do to really wrap his hands into this FLW Tour season and make this Forrest Wood Cup?
You don't know it, but I'm the right guy to be asking that question because we started the season the same way. I started with the goose egg on on day one at Okeechobee. Different circumstances. And I can tell you, he did the opposite of what I did. I had a pity party for myself and tried to figure out how I'm going to dig out of this hole instead of just trying to remain consistent and just do what I do. I panicked. And he didn't do that. And, you could talk all day long about, the way that it's setting up for him. I don't think we'd be stupid to not count him in as a real possibility to win this thing. And we got the best writers here at FLW2, by the way. Colin Moore talked to me a couple weeks ago. He was doing an article for on who do you think is going to win. He interviewed like 10 of us, and he just sent me an email, and I just texted him back, Gagliardi, and he said why, and I said fate.
Yeah.
So if you go back and look at that article, it's a big long article, and everybody's got paragraphs and paragraphs why, and mine was the last one. Gagliardi.
I loved it.
It's hard to go against that. When something's meant to be in this sport, you can go back through the years in any tour, any tournament. A lot of times when something's meant to happen, it kind of does, So you can't bet against that guy. What he did, I do the FLW Tour recaps after these tournaments and blog for FLW, and that was my whole blog. It struck me as such an incredible feat in bass fishing of all time that I just felt like, forget about what I did. Nobody wants to hear why I didn't catch him at the last tournament or all year. Let's talk about what happened that, in my mind, is just unbelievable.
It really is. I mean, it's one of the best feel-good stories of the year, really, because I saw this guy at Okeechobee, and he was crushed. It was a bad deal, for him. But then he shows the resolve and the mental fortitude to put it behind him and make it happen.
Momentum,
and that's what happened.
Is half this game. The other half, let me go back. Probably 33% momentum, 33% skill, 33% mind game. You got to have such a strong mental aptitude to go out there like you guys do and make those moves when it's time to move or keep doing what you're doing. And he's got all three of those. He's got the momentum, he's got the skill, and he's also got the mental game, obviously, to be here at the Cup.
I'll tell you what. Let's get out of this sun. What do you say, Dave?
I'm agreeing with that. Hey, when I left my house, 48 degrees, okay? This is hot.
You better believe it. The 2 o'clock edition of the Cup Insider. Once again, your host, Daniel and Alan. We were joined by Kellogg's Pro Dave Lefebvre. We appreciate you so much. Be sure, get on FLW Outdoors or FLWFishing.com. 5 o'clock. We've got the big weigh-in taking place, day 2 weigh-in. We're going to make some cuts. We're going to crown some co-angler champions. We're making stuff happen today. 5 o'clock. Thank you.